No sign of Trump. We have not seen Trump today. We have not heard from Trump today. We haven't heard his voice. Our Jeff Zeleny pointing out that on the first day of a government shutdown, as the Trump administration says layoffs are imminent, there is no sign of the president of the United States. And it is no secret to anyone, anywhere in the world, that Trump loves to be seen. Here he is on various days over the past 2 weeks. He loves to seize a moment. But today we have not seen him anywhere as of 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, as the government shutdown enters its 19th hour with no end in sight. And Trump's team is threatening imminent layoffs.
We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues.
We believe that layoffs are imminent.
Imminent means this: Trump's budget chief telling Republicans to expect the pink slips in the next day or two. Now, layoffs on top of layoffs. I want to be clear, we're using that word specifically, layoff. That is what the administration is calling them. They're not being furloughed, which is what usually happens during a shutdown, right? You get a furlough, government reopens, you get back pay, and you're back to your job. No, they are saying layoffs, permanent, goodbye. And this comes as the government shutdown means that we're not even going to get crucial economic data released. So the payroll processing company ADP, it's a private company, they came out and released their monthly numbers, jobs numbers. This is all we got. We won't, if the government's closed, get the federal ones this Friday. The ADP number showed more than 30,000 jobs were lost in September. That is the biggest number in more than 2 years. And on top of it, they say jobs were also lost in August. Now, that reality is grim, even though over the past few weeks, Trump has said this.
The jobs are being created right now.
A lot of jobs are coming in, like I think we've never seen before.
Well, the numbers we are getting show that to be a fantasy. But back to the black hole of economic data we are entering during a government shutdown. We have not had a blackout in jobs data in 12 years. And it is not just jobs that are a concern. Take this headline from the Wall Street Journal the other day. I've been saving it because it really stood out to me. It says, beneath the GDP, a risk warning. In the Journal, they point to the Commerce Department's latest analysis. It was released this week. So when you read through it, what you see is America's gross output, which measures business spending at all stages of production. So every stage of the factory, all the way through. They say, you can see the data slowing to a crawl. As the Wall Street Journal puts it, when business puts on the brakes, employment slows and recession strikes. And this deeply worrisome and murky data is landing at the same time this country is facing a shutdown unlike any shutdown in its history because of the unprecedented political moment we're in. Lawmakers don't just go into a room now and hammer out a solution and talk about nasty shutdown stuff. No, we live in a country where it is either fealty to Trump instead of the country or oppose Trump no matter what. That's the way it is right now. And as for Trump, while he didn't show his face, he did post another AI-generated video of Democrats doubling down by putting another sombrero on Hakeem Jeffries. The sombrero again. Trump's way of saying that Democrats want to give health care to illegal immigrants from Mexico. Of course, there is no such proposal from Democrats on the table. And I want to point out that Vice President J.D. Vance says he has no problem with the sombrero video.
I mean, Hakeem Jeffries said it was racist, and I know that he said that, and I honestly don't even know what that means. Like, is he a Mexican-American that is offended by having a sombrero meme? The President of the United States likes to have a little bit of fun when he's doing it, and I think that's okay.
I guess J.D. Vance is pretending he doesn't see color. But the president does seem to be having fun with this. I mean, you can see the Hakeem Jeffries sombrero video now playing on a loop inside the White House. Jeff Zeleny is out front at the White House. Manu Raju is out front on Capitol Hill. Jeff, it's very significant, as you are pointing out, that the president, who does love to be seen and is happy to jump into controversy, has not been seen on the first full day of the shutdown. What does that signal?
Well, Aaron, it signals first and foremost he does not want to be out front or the face of this shutdown, at least in its opening day. Of course, that could change and likely will change as the hours and days go forward. But it was notable that the vice president came out to the press briefing room, a place where he has not been in that moment, to be the face of this shutdown. But that does not mean the president and his administration officials are not doing things behind the scenes, because they are. Very significant movement happening at the Office of Management and Budget today. Some $26 billion in funding already approved by Congress was canceled. That is significant. Of course, the layoffs that you mentioned also significant. But the president not wanting to be out front on this signals a couple different things. After talking to a variety of officials here at the White House and around the president, they also believe that there may be a possibility to get a few Democrats on board to vote for this. They believe that the pain point is significant enough that that is one reason, according to an official, that the president was not out front poking people directly. We will see how long that lasts. But now the shutdown will last at least until Friday because of the Jewish holiday. There are no votes planned for tomorrow. So I think we'll have to see how long the president stays behind this. But for now, at least, very significant. He's not out front on this, and he barely commented on social media at all, except, of course, those videos, which are still playing right now in a loop in an empty press room. Aaron.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeff Zeleny. And I want to go to Manu Raju. He's live on Capitol Hill. So, Manu, what are you hearing there? Specifically about the fact, when you talk about there's not going to be a vote till at least Friday, right? So you're going to have 2 days. That's when supposedly, according to their math, 1 to 2 days, you're getting mass layoffs that are, going to be irreversible the way that they put it. So what happens here?
Well, right now, the threat of these mass layoffs have not really moved the needle on Capitol Hill because Democrats say that the president and his team were already planning these mass layoffs. They don't believe that anything would have been different given that there's a government shutdown, and they're still demanding what they have since the outset of this debate. They want an extension of those Obamacare subsidies that are expiring at year's end. They want to reverse Medicaid cuts enacted under President Trump's domestic policy law. And we're hearing from Republicans about this, too. I asked a number of them, many of them siding with the president, but some raising concerns.
They've done layoffs before, and they will continue them unless we take a strong stand and show we will not be bullied.
But you would be okay with federal employees being fired?
Again, that's what happens in the private sector all the time. I don't know why public sector employees ought to be immune from that process, but it's completely unnecessary.
This is certainly the most moral high ground Republicans have had in a moment like this that I can recall. And I just don't like squandering that political capital when you have that kind of high ground. It makes it much easier for us to just push forward.
And that last comment coming from Senator Kevin Cramer of North Dakota, raising some concerns about the firings, the political impact on the firings. And that really is the big question here, Aaron. The longer this drags on, which party feels the most pressure, which will feel the need to cave, and which will find the need to cut a bipartisan deal? That question could play out into next week or even beyond.
Manu, thank you very much. And out front here on this breaking news, Einstein and Ives, Peter Tuchman and Dan Ives, S.E. Cupp, political commentator, and Philip Bump, former Washington Post columnist. Okay, thanks very much to all of you. Phil, interesting, no sign of the president. Right. And maybe he doesn't want to be associated with this, but, he usually likes to be out there. And he's having others come out and brag, frankly, about imminent layoffs and other things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it may be the case, as we heard there, that he understands that resolving this means not getting in a fight with Democrats beyond what he already has, right? Like, this is what he likes to do, is he likes to goad and he likes to poke and he likes to throw punches. And so this may be a reflection of that. It may be a reflection, too, of that he's distracted by something else, which also happens with President Trump. I think that one of the things we should keep in mind is it's extremely hard, both for people in Washington and for anyone else observing, to anticipate what happens here. This is a very, shutdowns are generally unique. This is a unique shutdown among unique things. And it's hard to know what's going to happen. Like 2013, it seemed when the Republicans forced a shutdown then, it was really going to damage them. And then the 2014 midterms, they overperformed. It's really, really hard to know, particularly at this moment, what's going to happen. And I think that Donald Trump at least may be recognizing that he's not going to be a value add for his side by getting in further fights with Democrats.
And yes, when we talk about unprecedented, I mean, it is. You've got the fealty to Trump or no matter what he says, it's bad. That is the world that we live in.
It is, and I think both sides know that. There's a lot of questions out here. To me, there's a question of the pain that we all feel, and that's great. This is a race between both parties to see who can add more to the debt and the deficit. It's not good for anyone. Then there's what should happen. If you look historically at polls, the last government shutdown, the longest one in history, voters blamed Trump. They blamed Republicans for that shutdown. Maybe that's because of how long it was, and maybe we won't get to that pain point here. But I'm just watching the way Republicans are acting. They don't seem worried. They seem giddy. They are loving this. From the shenanigans over the Biden auto pen, the hats, the sombrero memes, they feel like they're in a great position. They're not wrong. Democrats are kind of in chaos right now. They haven't gotten their stuff together. I don't think anyone's all that afraid of Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries, including in their own party. So they feel like they're doing well. Are they? We'll find out soon.